On here early today. On here super early today. And it's a Saturday. So y'all are probably very much sleep still. I don't know. I know I am going to wait a little bit for some people to come in here though. Because I never, ever, ever stream this early, especially not on a Saturday. But I thought it would be pretty cool to live stream about something that just happened. I literally just posted a video about it, but I always like to go in detail on the live streams because it's nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible to not talk about men because men are always doing something. Um, that's why I think it's so funny when people are like, "How are you able to talk about men all the time?" Or like, don't you get tired of talking about men? And it's like, no matter what, you could be living in like your own little bubble. And for whatever reason, if it's not going to be like a stranger, if it's not going to be a stranger, if it's not going to be a man in your family, if it's not going to be a man from your past, like it's going to be somebody, okay? And usually the person is a freaking man. And so, out of all of those, I guess, different sectors in which make it come into your life, I want to talk about the ones that try to return back and enter into your life because it's very important for women to pause and kind of ask themselves, like, okay, why is this guy even reaching back out to me? Like, we haven't communicated and in forever. Why is he trying to communicate with me? So there's actually this guy. I went to high school with him. He actually is 2 years. He graduated 2 years before me, so he's 2 years older than me, and not too bad looking of a dude. Like, honestly, especially in high school, he actually was like a really, really, really attractive guy. And hi, and essentially, like, I never talked to this guy, like, ever, and, like, once I was, like, old enough once I graduated high school early because I hated where I had grown up, and so I was, like, out of the loop for a long, long time with, like, any dealings of what was happening with people that, like, grew up in my hometown, like, and then I ended up moving out of the area completely, so I had, like, no understanding of what drama was happening or whatever was going on. So anyway, long story short, like, obviously, you have like your personal social media. And like at the time I had a Facebook. So this guy in particular, like, so I think he actually ended up like years ago when I was in a relationship. I think he actually ended up being my friend like on Snapchat, but we were just friends on Snapchat. I don't think that we ever had like communicated ever. Um, and so I think at one point, like he tried to talk to me, but I was in a relationship, so I couldn't talk to this guy. So anyway, fast forward back to like 2023, we end up like talking or whatever. And then it actually had turned out that an old friend that I had, he actually had like talked to that old friend. And so I mean, I'm really big on asking about people. Like, if I know that we have mutuals, I'm really big on like asking, people about stuff. So, me and the guy had like been talking for a while, and I had like reached out to an old person, and like turns out that like this guy actually ended up having like a predatory past. Um, yeah, it actually turned out he ended up having like a predatory past. And during like this time that we had talked or whatever, like he was on like a baby red pill trajectory. So like he had pretty much like he was like trying to spoon feed me like that content or whatever. And I'm trying to remember the creator that he had told me about. I believe it was Pearl. Yeah, it was Pearl. He wasn't on like the FNF like spectrum, obviously not yet, I'm assuming, but he was on. He had like sent me like her stuff, and then he had told me that like there was a girl that he was like dealing with, and like he pretty much wanted her to start watching that content, and he got mad because obviously when she had watched the content, like, you know what I mean, like she felt some like type of way. So also mind you, when I was talking to this guy, ooh, this is the reason why I'm really, really, really big on women not talking to men when they have a low self esteem. Like, if you're not happy with your weight, if you're not happy with your financial situation, if you're not happy with your confidence, your self esteem, like, if there's any sector of your life where, like, you are really, really just unfulfilled, you need not be dating, because it's very easy for you to have those like holes in your life that you feel empty in, and then any man can come into your life and you just automatically, you're going to use him to fill that hole in your life in which where you feel empty and where you feel a void. And it can be really, really easy for you to kind of like fall victim to whatever nefarious behavior this man might potentially have in store for you. So anyway, long story short, um actually no, I'm not going to make it short because it's a live stream. So anyway, me and like this guy were like distant at the time. And if I could be 100% honest, like my self-esteem was so low. Like I had no intentions of like dating this guy, hanging out with this guy, like really meeting up with this guy. Honestly, I just was validation starved because I was like going through binge eating disorder. I had like a super low self-esteem. I was like really unhappy with like my weight. And like I could tell that like my social currency was down. And so I kind of like wanted a way to kind of like um bypass the feeling of having my social currency be reduced. And so I kind of was like essentially like kind of using this guy in a way to bypass that, I guess, if that makes sense. So anyway, long story short, I keep saying that as if I'm going to shorten this story, knowing damn well I'm not going to. Um, I ended up visiting our hometown, ironically, around like the same time that he was, because I had to go back for, oh, actually, I was seeing another guy too. Because one thing about me, no matter how low my self-esteem was, I always kept a roster. Always kept a roster. So I didn't actually know that he was going to be in town. I actually was going back in town to A, visit my family, and then B, there was a guy that I was talking to back in my hometown, because my plan was that I was actually going to move back to my hometown. So this was kind of like a point in my life where I was thinking like, oh yeah, like maybe I do want to settle down, maybe I do want to have a family, you know, I was trying to really grasp onto a sense of familiarity, because by nature, that's also what we like to do. And I think this is like a very important thing to add. When you feel as though your current life isn't going how you want it to go, or maybe you feel as though you're not fulfilled, the first thing that people tend to cling on to is familiarity, because you already know the outcome. So this is when people want to move back home. This is when people want to reach out to like past exes. Like, we're all guilty of this, okay? Like, I'm guilty of this because familiarity makes us feel comfortable, right? So that's at the time, like that's kind of what I was like thinking about and kind of like searching for. I was just had a really low self-esteem, and I was like, I just want something familiar. So anyway, long story short, I ended up having a disaster. I ended up having a disaster of a time with this guy because I catfished the guy. The first guy, not the guy that I'm telling you guys about, but the guy that I ended up like I went back home to see my family and I was going to see him. I actually catfished the guy. That will have to be a whole nother separate story time. Okay. That will have to be a whole nother story time on how I catfished that guy. But anyway, the other guy, the ghost of Dust Past that like just tried to return back into my life. The ghost of Dust Past was there during the same time that I was there. And so he was like, hey, like, do you want to like hang out or whatever? Because essentially I catfished him too. Bitch, I was catfishing everybody. I was catfishing everybody. And so essentially I like hung out with him or whatever, and like the hangout was like cool or whatever. Like we went to just go get some breakfast or whatever, and like that was that. Like we never talked again after that. And it's so funny because One of his friends ended up taking me out. One of his friends like thought I was cute. And so one of his friends ended up taking me out. That didn't go anywhere either because like one thing about me, I just kept a roster. Like I didn't give a fuck. I just kept a roster and I would just have these guys like just keep like taking me out. Like I didn't even care, even though my self-esteem was like through the fucking floor. Baby, my self-esteem was through the floor, but I had men still taking me out. So whenever women are like, but I feel fat and I feel this and I feel blah, blah, blah. Girl, I'm telling you, like these men really don't care. Like they really, really, they really don't give a fuck. I promise you, they don't care. So his friend ended up taking me out. And once again, like I'm just using these guys to just bypass time and like my miserable life. Like, I kid you not, I was roster dating like crazy at the time. So anyway, this was back in 2023. I wake up this morning to a text message from the ghost of Dust Past. And he's like, "Oh, how are you? Like, I haven't like seen you in a while or whatever." And he sent the text super late. He sent the text at like almost 11 o'clock last night. And in my head, I'm just thinking, like, where is this coming from? We haven't talked since 2023. Where is this freaking coming from? Now, mind you, like this person like does like live because we're both from the same hometown, but like we both did like move, like we both ended up moving to the same state, but he moved here fucking forever ago. Like he moved here forever ago. And he knew a long time ago that like I actually kind of had plans of like moving here, but some of it was kind of like some of it was kind of like me like lying and being like, "Oh yeah, like I would love to like move there and like have a family and da 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 da." Like I was future faking too. You know what I mean? So, um yeah, so essentially when I had like my Facebook or whatever, like obviously I had on there at some point that like, "Oh yeah, like I'm in Florida, like I'm, a lot happier here, yada yada yada." And so yeah, he ended up texting me last night and yeah, I was like, there's only one reason why you would be texting me. You're just trying to text me to number one, be nosy and ruin my life because y'all saw what I did on the last live stream. The universe was like, let's send a boomerang your way. Um, if you missed the live stream, it's under the membership channel because that live stream was super juicy. Um, it's the one that has like the baby, like the person throwing the baby thumbnail. It was about me talking about like the declining birth rate. Yeah, it was one about me talking about the declining birth rate. And then somehow that ended up funneling into me calling somebody, and that was just hilarious. So if you're interested in that, please go check out that live stream. So the universe is real funny because it definitely boomeranged that situation back my way. But the universe is always going to try to test you, okay? Like always try to test you. Because I know damn well that that guy most likely has seen my content. Um and honestly, he doesn't give a fuck about what I'm doing. He doesn't give a fuck about what I'm doing. He knows that we're at least in the same state. He does. He knows that we're at least in the same state. So, of course, he's going to be nosy and try to like be like, "Oh, well, how are you liking it out here? And maybe we should hang out and maybe we should maybe we should get together." And like here's the thing too. Mind you, Mind you, this guy literally has told me all the ins and outs how like he found his girlfriend and his girlfriend was pretty much like already in an abusive relationship. I think it's an ex-girlfriend now. And essentially, you know, essentially they like tell me all this stuff and I'm like, "Oh my God, like why are y'all telling me all of this stuff? Like I don't need to know all this information." So it's like you're going to tell me all this information as if I'm not going to remember this information, as if I'm going to think that I'm above this information that you're telling me. Like obviously I, know this stuff, you know what I mean? So, um but yeah, essentially I look at it like this. Um Yeah, there could be no good reason why somebody would be, like, reaching out to me, um, after a certain time, and, like, obviously, like, I'm cognizant of the fact of, like, of course, you know what I mean? Um, Men are like, "No," like, like, they don't want, like, this stuff to, like, be, talked about essentially. But I appreciate you. I appreciate you guys for what I'm saying, like thinking about me, and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's really, really, really important that, like, if you do have somebody that's, like, trying to reach out to you, especially if they're trying to reach back out to you after, like, you've rejected them, they're trying to reach back out to you after, like, they've seen you, like, level up, like, let's say it's like a ex, and, like, y'all have still stay friends on social media, and then they see that you've leveled up, and then they wanna go on ahead and they kinda wanna reach back out to you. I think it's so, so, so important that, like, you don't think that it's because, like, they're actually interested in you, um, or, like, because they're curious or they're genuinely curious because, like, they care about you. It's like, no. Exactly. That's why Shira always says, like, no, they have to have a re-entry free. They're gonna have to pay because in most cases there really is no good reason why they're trying to re-enter your life. Because the thing about it is that this person did have a girlfriend. Um, so in my opinion, he probably don't have a girlfriend anymore. Because a lot of the time, once they decide that they want to reach back out to you, it's usually because they don't have anybody to entertain them anymore. They don't have anybody to entertain them anymore, and so they're bored, and so, like I said before, like, anything familiar, that's typically what people are gonna cling on to. So, a lot of the time, they want to hopefully go back to something that is familiar in hopes that you're clinging on to, like, past versions of that person or ideals of that person that you're thinking about. Um, and then boom, you can. And y'all want to know the crazy thing about it is that men gossip so much. Like, can y'all believe me that my dad? So, so when I had a Facebook, like all the opinions that I like have on here, I would state those opinions on my Facebook. And like most of my Facebook was men. So a lot of these men would get so pissed off and they would like argue with me in the comments. And like there would be a lot of men that would like crack up. Like there would be so many men that would crack up over it because they would just get so pissed off at my opinions. Can y'all believe that? And God forbid, if me and my dad never had an argument, my dad probably would have never told me this. My dad probably would have never told me this. Can you believe that in the midst of an argument, my dad literally told me that his friends would go and screenshot my posts on Facebook and then send them to my dad. And it'd be like, she's talking about you. And like, don't you feel some type of way? Because like she has these opinions about you. Like they will literally screenshot it and send it to my dad. Like, what? Like, you're so upset about an opinion that I have that you're gonna screenshot it and you're going to send it to my dad as if I'm not freaking 32 years old. Like, as if I'm not a grown adult, okay? Yeah. Do you think the US tries to make and keep women ignorant? Something about this place just feels off for women. Even a place like Iran has some of the most educated women doctors, engineers there. Of course. That's kind of why we're in the era that we're in now. That's kind of why we're in the era that we're in now with like the soft like the thing about is that like that soft life content, um, the provider content, although in a sense it is the treatment that you should expect, it's not treatment that you should rely on. And essentially, the way that they're trying to package the content is that they want to sell it to women as it to be something that you rely on. And it's the difference. Of course, you should expect this. Of course, you should expect princess treatment. Of course, you should expect for someone to want to do for you. Patriarchy wants you to rely on that. And that's where things get dangerous. Once you set that as a reliance, that's when you're going to get exploited. That's when you're going to get abused. That's when things are going to start like negatively impacting you. As long as you don't have a reliance on those things, then you can't really be ignorant. But when you have reliance on those things, you're kind of willfully being ignorant because you're just handing off all your autonomy. You're handing off all of your things onto you're handing off all of your things onto somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So, last dude couldn't buy me a small pink backpack from Victoria's Secret. He told me no. I wasn't making a lot of money. Now I got a better job and luxury bags that I want. Yeah, because a lot of the time, I mean, most men are average. So most of the time, most of the time, it's not going to be much that you're missing out on that you could entertain yourself. I think, I think that's what women don't realize. Like, the majority of them are average men at the end of the day. It's not like you're going to have some, it's not like you're going to have some life-changing elevation in your lifestyle and in your life. Like, it's really not going to be much that they can, you know what I mean, like do for you. Um yeah. So yeah, of course, the men are gonna get mad and the men are gonna be like, "Oh no." But yeah, I still think to this day how funny it is that and somebody would go and like screenshot my stuff to my dad and then go tell my dad. And my dad's like, "Well, the reason why I never brought it up was because I didn't care." Like, he literally only brought it up in an argument because I guess he kind of felt like what we were arguing about was like piggybacking off of that. And so he's like, "The reason why I never decided to bring it up was because," he was like, "I don't care." And he was like, I literally would message him and be like, "I don't care what she's talking about. Like, it's her page, it's her Facebook. Like, it's really not that big of a deal to me. Like, it's really not that big of a deal." Um, so yeah. And in my opinion, I feel like the only people who are ever going to get mad over stuff like that are just going to be the dusties. Like, um they're just going to be mad over the fact that they are having to be reminded that they can't have access to the women that they would like really want. Um or that the women that they would want to humble are just too smart essentially for, them to be humbled. Because of course, when you have a platform and like the platform gets bigger, of course, you're going to have more visibility. You're going to have more visibility. It just is what it is. But all the men that know me personally or have known me personally, they're not a stranger. They're not a stranger to these ideologies because they've all been friends with me on Facebook and they've all seen my ideologies. They've literally all seen my ideologies on Facebook. Literally, they've all freaking seen them. They'll be okay. They will. They'll be okay. But yeah, don't ever take that stuff as like a compliment when somebody's trying to return back in your life and like trying to come back into your life. Usually they want to come back into your life to try to ruin it. Honestly, they want to try to come back into your life to ruin it. Under the guise of concern, because like he's like one of I had a couple other guys reach out to me. I had a couple guys also reach out to me because the thing about it is that when you take away all your access, because I removed everything. And I think for men that know me, and I think for any woman personally, I think what angers men more is when they don't have access to you. They don't have personal access to you. And I think that's what makes men like more upset is when they don't have any personal access to you because I don't have anything personal anymore. I don't have anything personal anymore. Um, so I've had like a couple guys be like, "Oh, like how are you? Is everything okay? Um, I haven't like seen you on social media or whatever." Yeah, it's literally because like they just want to be nosy. Um, they want to be nosy and they want to see what I'm up to. And like obviously I'm gaining like more and more of a following. So like my stuff is on Facebook, my stuff is on, TikTok, Instagram, like it's on all the other, like social media platforms. So it's like they're like, "Oh, I don't know what she's personally doing, but I like see like the content that she's making or whatever." Um so that's another thing too, like, you have to get rid of, like, all access to them, essentially, and nothing really makes them more upset than to know that, like, you kinda, like, close the door on them and that you're not gonna give them any more access. You're just not gonna do it anymore because there's really no need for them to have it. Mhm. So, yeah, like, cause pretty much, cause the thing about it is that, like, the other 2 guys, like, one of them, okay, so one of them that had reached out to me, he was just I don't even first of all, he wasn't attractive, not attractive at all, and he would, like one thing that I don't like, don't ever ask me to hang out and you didn't make plans. Like, don't ever text me at like some 8 o'clock talking about, hey, I'm at such and such. I was wondering if we could like go grab a drink or something because that's how this guy would try to come to me. And so what I essentially would do is I would lie to him and say like, "Oh yeah, I'm on the way." Like, just, give me about like 30 minutes and then 45 minutes would pass. He would text me. He'd be like, "I've been waiting. Like I've been waiting for you. Where are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I went back to sleep. Sorry." So he would try that a couple times and like eventually he realized like, oh, she's just playing with me. Like she just is purposely wasting my time. Yeah, because you're trying to waste mine like by not, asking me, hey, when are you free? Like, no, I'm not gonna hop out of the bed just because you asked me to go hang out with you. Like, no. And what I'm doing, I'm having more fun doing what I'm doing currently than to be leaving what I'm doing currently to like go have a drink with you. Like that's not happening. So he had texted me like asking how I was doing. Didn't reach out to him. Then there was another guy who like it was kind of the same thing. We talked for a little bit and then he like fell off the face of the earth and he reached back out. Then I didn't talk to him. Then we were in town at the same time. And then we ended up hanging out. And then we talked for a little bit. And then I ghosted him. And then he reached out to me like a month ago. I didn't respond back to him. What if you didn't realize the bad mistake you made with someone close and messed it up then permanently because you were involved with someone terrible in the past and you try to apologize? Um, I mean, it is what it is. But also, I think another thing that women do is like, this is what men do, and they always try to plant this seed in women's head. A lot of time men try to plant the seed where like if you deal with a man and you have a bad experience with another man, they like to plant the seed and be like, see, that's what you get. If you would have dealt with me, you would have never had to worry about that. And it's like I think women need to trust themselves more. I think women need to trust themselves more instead of saying that, oh, well, the opposite of this bad experience is a good experience. And like this person would have given me a good experience. No, the opposite of that bad experience is an experience that you would never know because you didn't get a chance to have it. You're just projecting. You're just projecting that good experience onto them. It's just a whole thing of like, oh, you missed out. Like women got to stop falling for that, because that's usually how men get access to you, or they try to get access to you. Because there was like one guy that I was dealing with, he got jealous right away. He got jealous right away. He got possessive right away. And he was upset over the fact that out of a weekend, I made plans with him for one day of the weekend. So I had plans to hang out with him on a Saturday, and then I had plans to hang out with my friend on a Sunday. And our plans were not, my plans with that man were not solidified. And he tried to do this thing where he was like, oh, well, since you're not prioritizing me, you can go be gay with your best friend, and I'm not going to talk to you anymore, essentially. And so I said, okay, cool. We won't talk anymore. And he must have not expected that reaction, because then out of nowhere, he's over here still trying to text me, still trying to contact me, still trying to hang out. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're the one that said you didn't want to deal with me anymore. You said that me and my, best friend at the time, like, we're gay and I'm not making enough time for you, even though we went on one date. Okay, this was after one fucking date. And you already have a sense of entitlement on my time and think that you should be like having all my time or whatever. So essentially, after I dealt with that guy, I had been dating around a little bit more, and then I ended up getting into a relationship with somebody. And then when that relationship had ended, it was something with like a mutual. It was something with a mutual, and I actually ended up like asking this guy like a question in regards to something. And so I was like, yeah, like I actually like just had a breakup or whatever. And so he didn't like say it. Like obviously he didn't say it, but you could like you could catch the mood from people. I know deep down he probably was like, yes, like she ended up like having a breakup or whatever. And because I don't have any pride or ego attached to like me keeping a man, because I don't care about keeping a man. I knew that he was like more like happy about that than anything, but it's like I broke up with that guy. I ended up breaking up with that guy. So it's like I don't keep anything that I don't want. You know what I mean? So it's like I never care about keeping a man, because if I don't want that man, why would I keep something that I don't want? That's stupid. So just like you wouldn't want to keep something that you don't want, you're not going to take something that you don't want. And so if you chose somebody over another person, it's simply because you didn't want that person. If you didn't want that person then, if you didn't want that person at the time when you had to make a decision, a bad experience shouldn't be the reason why you would want to go back to picking a person that you didn't want to pick. That's how I look at it. The reason being is because it's something that they have to compete with. It's something that they have to compete with. Anytime that men see that like you have a really close friend, or like you have something that you're passionate about, something that like you care about, essentially what's going to happen is that they're going to try to paint this picture as if like what you're doing is negative. So like, all like, you're too busy doing XYZ, and like it's taking away from like us, and I don't like that you're doing that, and I feel like it's not good for you, and I just want the best for you, and I just am saying this out of concern. Yeah, I'm just doing this out of concern, yada yada yada. And essentially they try to like plant this seed in your head that like, oh, you care so much about your friendships, you all must be gay, when in reality it's like, no, you're just upset that you have a barrier to overcome with you not being the priority. This is why men typically like they don't want to be with women that have a life. If they do want to be with a woman that has a life, it's simply because they want her to have a life, and then they want to see how far they can go to get her to give up the life that she's living to make them a priority. And the thing about it is that one guy that was like claiming that me and my friend at the time were lesbians, like This is the same guy that wanted to like pay for my car. Like he was like, I'll pay your car note, like I'll do whatever to talk to you. But because he came off, because he was so possessive, like this is the thing too. You have to be careful who you accept things from too. If somebody already gave you possessive vibes and they haven't done anything for you and they are offering to do something for you, don't accept something that somebody that has possessive vibes is giving you, because what's going to happen is that it's going to feed the possession even more. Um, and then that can like turn into like a way more dangerous scenario because yeah, like I didn't accept anything that that man was offering me, because he was like, how much is your car note? I'll pay for your car note. I'll do this, I'll do that. Um I was like, "No, no, thanks." The piece of me not having to deal with you anymore, the piece of me not having to deal with you anymore equates to being way greater than my car note being paid for. I will be okay. Like, you don't have to accept everything from any person that makes you an offer, especially if they already were possessive really, really early on. Mhm. Yep, and he just like, I hate it when they wanna call you baby early on in the relationship, and they wanna just yeah, they wanna call you baby and, like, do and say weird stuff. Like, no, not happening. Yeah, but I'm gonna get off in, like, 20 more minutes. I didn't schedule the live stream, so if you didn't get, like, a notification, that's why. It's just I finally felt well enough to go back live because I was live on Wednesday and oh my god, y'all, I am insane. So, also this is TMI, okay? Like it's a TMI story, so just like a forewarning for you. Okay, so this past weekend I had like had my cycle and I use a menstrual cup. If you don't use a menstrual cup, I don't know what you're doing, okay? Um I don't know what you're doing if you're not using a menstrual cup, but whatever. So, had a menstrual cup and like I don't know, like my period kind of came and went and I don't know what happened, but the day before yesterday, I go use the bathroom and I'm like, mind you, like my period ended on like Monday. Okay. My period ended Monday. So Thursday's here. It was Thursday morning and I'm using the bathroom and I'm like, where's my menstrual cup? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, don't tell me. Yep, there it is. My menstrual cup was still inside of me. And mind you, my back was starting to hurt. I had assumed that my back was hurting because I had a class the day before and we were doing a lot of like back stuff, like low back stuff. And I assumed that my back was sore from that. And I was like, oh my fucking God, this cup has been living inside of me for like a couple days now. Um, and so I took that thing like freaking right out because I was like, this is gonna turn into a UTI like very, very quickly. Um, if I don't do something about this. So I was like a little bit tired and my back was hurting. Um, so I had it live stream for a couple days after that live stream on Wednesday because lo and behold, that was the reason why I was feeling a little bit because like I was supposed to go to class I was supposed to go to class that same day and like I didn't go. I didn't feel good. Yeah, it to me, I mean, I've been using them since 2014. Um, I just like them better because I just don't want to have to keep I just don't want to have to keep getting um like tampons and then because of all the stuff that I do with like pole fitness and all that stuff, I can't have a pad on. That's not gonna work. Yeah, it's like a medical grade. It's like a medical grade cup, and essentially what you do, like you like fold it and you insert it, and then it catches the blood essentially. But I mean, if you're weird about blood and like you're weird about like, you know, getting in there, then like it's not for you because you kind of got to be okay with that, um, or else you'll pass out. And it's a learning curve too. It's definitely a learning curve. Um, the first time that I tried, so the first time that like I started practicing with it, oh my god, I have a funny story. Sorry, once again, it's like TMI, but whatever. So the cup has like a nipple at the bottom of it, and like essentially you're supposed to like pull like on the nipple to be able to get it out. And if you do, if I've influenced you to try one, like just be careful with pulling out that nipple, because you can't just pull on the nipple. Like you have to pull. I don't pull on the nipple. I pull underneath more. I pull underneath more because, child, I was in X-ray school. I was in the bathroom, and like, thank God in the hospital, usually it's a single use bathroom. And it was a bathroom inside of one of the X-ray rooms. So it definitely was a single use bathroom. Y'all, I pulled that nipple out. I pulled the nipple hard. The cup came out. The blood went flying. It was insane. Thank God. Thank God there's like wipes or whatever. Thank God there's wipes that I use. Thank God that there's wipes in there that I use because cleaning all of that stuff up, cleaning all that stuff up was, yeah. Mm-mm. Cleaning that stuff up was, that shit wasn't fun. Um yeah, they do have different sizes. They have different sizes. Usually the companies make two different sizes. So they'll make one if like you've been pregnant, and then if you've never been pregnant, because pregnancy naturally enlarges your uterus. And after every pregnancy, your uterus like kind of gets a little bit more enlarged. So they have different sizes based off of that. I don't so I've never used the Flex Cup. I forgot the brand that I use because it's a brand that I order off of Amazon, and I haven't ordered a cup in a while because I have a designated cup that I use to like boil, I guess you could say boil it in. I use like hot water and then salt, and like I clean it in like this designated cup that I have for it to sanitize it. Um and so essentially, um a friend of mine used the Flex Cup, and she said it was really tough. Like, she said that it was like a hard kinda like plastic. Um, I think what I use is called the Blossom Cup, if I'm not mistaken. Um, the Blossom Cup is like more bendy, like the plastic is a little bit more flimsy. Because also sometimes because sometimes it's not comfortable. I'm shocked that it was that comfortable for me to forget about it because normally it's not. Normally it's not that comfortable. And the thing about it is that it is comfortable. I just have to finagle it. I don't wear liners. I don't wear liners because it's very, 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 very rare that it's very, very rare that I have like any like bleeding outside of the cup. It's very, very rare. So I don't even use them. My ex who wanted me to chase him is dating someone else, and he sent money to my friend because I ignored him so much and moved on. Broke up with my friend because she actually was jealous of me. Pfft, 2 for 1, baby. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Because that's the thing too. When when the devil sends a man your way and like it's not a good man and he can't get access to you, he will go to your best friend because that's like the next way for him to get next to you. But it's also a great way for you to be able to um weed out your friendships. It is. It's a really, really good way for you to be able to weed out your friendships. Because any person that would allow their like quote unquote friend, any person that's gonna have the boyfriend like be able to penetrate the friendship. Yeah, exactly. His ego is bruised. He wants to punish you. Yeah, like usually 9 times out of 10, men have a lot of revenge fantasies. Honestly, they have a lot of revenge fantasies. So in their brain, they want you to come back, and they want you to entertain like their BS, and they essentially want to reel you back in. And it's like, no, like, nope. And it's crazy too because like the other two guys, I didn't even block them. I didn't block them, but the recent guy, I definitely blocked him. I definitely blocked him. Because the other two guys, it's like I never really talked to them like that. But the other guy that I did, and it's like we are in 2025. I have not spoken to this guy. I have not spoken to this guy since like August of 2023. So we're talking August 2023 to 2024, 2024 to 2025. It's been 2 years and you're now just trying to talk to me, like, sir. And like I said before, this guy knows my views. He's seen them before. He knows my views. So something must have fallen through. Something must have fallen through in his life. Like, and here's the thing too. I remember Princella the Queen Maker. She actually talked about this on a live stream. So Princella the Queen Maker has said that like I don't think it was I don't know if it was an ex-boyfriend or someone that she had like talked to. I don't know like how close in proximity their relationship was. But she said that this man had like called her and reached out to her. And so she had picked up the phone and she was like, "You haven't talked to me in like, it's been like 3 years since we talked. Like, what do you want?" And can you believe that this man called her and was like, "Hey, you remember like all the good things that like I've done, and do you remember like can you recount like any good things that I've done or whatever?" And Princella was like, or he was like, Princella pretty much said that like he wanted Princella to recount all of like the good things that like he's done because he had like his girl on the other line. He had his girl on the other line, and essentially he wanted Princella to vouch for him to get this girl to like loan him money. Because he's like, my girl follows you, and like my girl likes all the things that like you talk about. And so essentially he wanted to use Princella to vouch for him. Simply because that girl said that she liked her content. So when they're I swear to God, when they're reaching out, I swear to God, when they're reaching out and it's been like forever since they reached out, like they're usually down bad. They are. They're usually down bad. They usually don't have access to a woman. And so they want to try to get access to you because they know you, or they want to try to use you to help them get access with another woman. When they reach out, take it as an opportunity to cuss them out. Honestly, I kept going back and forth on how I wanted to respond to that guy. And I was like, I don't have anything to say. Like, I just blocked the number. I did. I just blocked the number. Because I know damn well he's probably not in a relationship anymore. Because the last time that he tried reaching out to me, it was when he had ended a relationship. History repeats itself. So that's how I know. It's like, no, it's just that your relationship ended. Your relationship ended because that's the last time you reached out to me. When your relationship was like having issues or whatever. And I don't have the energy to want to give to somebody either. I don't. I don't have the energy to want to give to somebody to even like cuss them out. Like I just don't have it in me anymore. I don't. I just don't have it in me anymore. Funny I'm seeing this live because I got a man I stopped talking to a day after Christmas who just started hitting me up 2 days ago. They always come back. They always come back and they always try to make it seem as if like it's out of the kindness of their heart, like, "Oh, thank you," or not thank you. "Oh, I just wanted to see how you were doing. I hope everything is good with you." And it's like, you don't care. You don't freaking care. Because a part of me wanted to text him. Really, what I wanted to text old dude back, really, what I wanted to text him was, "What the fuck do you want?" Because that's what I was contemplating on. I literally was contemplating on texting him, "What the fuck do you want?" But then I already had played out how he was gonna text back, and he would have been like, "What? I already know. I already know how men are. Wow, that's how you treat somebody that's checking in on you. I can't be nice to you. I can't want to see how you're doing." And then that would have pissed me off more, and then that would have just annoyed me more. So I'm like, you want to know what? I'm just gonna block you because I already know how the conversation is gonna go if I text what it is that I really want to text. Because it's like, I already know you want something. What do you want? I changed my number and had the code number for my apartment changed at the front door. If he tries to come back, it's going to take work. He then would be met by the police. It's time to get real, girl. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. She said, what did he say after you said, "What do you want?" He just said, "I wanted to see how you been. LOL, just typical." Child, exactly. What the fuck do you want? What do you want from me? Exactly. Like, keep the pleasantries, please. Keep the pleasantries. Tell me what you want so we can move so I could tell you I ain't got it. I don't want to give it to you. I'm too busy. Like, just just make everyone's life easier and just say what it is you want. So we can make life easier and you can move on to the next person. Mhm. Yeah, you all know it's cuffing season, and these men are looking for a warm meal and some kitty stage out here, ladies. Yes, and the thing about it too is that um, I don't want to reveal too much about the person, but I do know that this person he does come from a two-parent household, and with me knowing the dynamic of where we grew up, and with me knowing who his parents are, I know for a fact that they value marriage and a family and stuff like that. It is an accomplishment. It is an accomplishment. And he literally told me, this is the man that he literally admitted this to me. He literally said, he was like, I need someone that I can show off when I go to the work events. I need somebody that I will be able to show off when I have my work events and when I'm with work people and stuff like that. He literally is still on the pursuit of trying to find someone to marry and deal with for his social status. And so it sounds as though he can't keep somebody long enough to make that happen. And so the person's probably grasping at straws to try to make this happen some way. But I'm a tattooed woman. I'm a tattooed woman with a stripper pass that swings around poles in her spare time and creates content. I'm not impressing anybody in your circle. I'm not impressing anybody that you know. So I don't know why you're even coming. I don't even know why you're coming over here. Exactly. Oh, that would make one. And here's the thing about it too. You want to know what pisses me off about men? You want to know what pisses me off about men? Not a single man. Okay. Not a single man who I told I was a stripper to was able to keep a secret. None of them. None of them. Not a single one of them. One of them even told his mom. One of them even told his mom. I was so pissed off at him. I was so pissed off at him because that's where he met me. One of my exes, he had met me at the club. He had told his mom. He's like, "Yeah, so I finally told my mom that you're a stripper and I met you at the club." And I'm like, "Sir." Then I had one guy that I was in a relationship with, and I waited maybe a year to tell him that I was a stripper. Um and then he went and he told all his friends that I was a stripper. And then I did do OnlyFans at some point, and he probably told them that I had did OnlyFans at some point. Mhm. And this guy is not this guy, the other guy, the guy that tried to reach back out. Um, he's halfway to 40. He's halfway to 40. I'm like, "Why are you telling people this?" Why are you telling people this? And the thing about it is that there are actually a lot of men who it's something to brag about. In their brain, in their eyes, it's something to brag about. Yeah, men listen, men don't even need to ask me what my, men don't even ask me what my body count is. They already know it's high. Because girls will be like, "What do you do when a man what do you do when a man asks for your, body count?" I'm like, "I don't know," because they look at me and they know it's high. So, like this guy on a date, he literally was like, "Yeah, I like" he just said it straight out. He was like, "I prefer my women to have a high body count." He already put it on me that I like, that's the thing, like, I don't that I tell you one thing, for the most part, that's, like, pretty much always been a requirement, like, if you don't like 304s, like, the man has to like 304s, like, if you don't like what would be considered 304, we're not gonna work out. We're probably not gonna work out if you don't like 304s. If you're over here looking for purity or trying to turn me pure, it's never gonna work. The water is so tainted over here. And I do not care. If every woman could be a fly on the wall as to what their body count is. And you want to know what's crazy? A lot of the time, men will try to compete with me when it comes to body count. Like literally, like one of my exes, he just was like, "Yeah, I've slept with like 87 women." And I'm like, "Good job." Like he must have assumed that my body count was like 50. He must have assumed that my body count was like 50. And so he's like, you know what? I'm gonna try to brag and say that my body count is 87. I'm not a man. So I don't care what your body count is. And it was even more funny because I'm like, you're lying. You're lying. What's a healthy way to emotionally connect with a provider you're seeing? You never emotionally connect with a provider. Never. You never emotionally connect. Get the money and run. You don't ever emotionally connect with you never emotionally connect with a provider. You can pretend. Exactly. You can pretend by lying. You can pretend an emotional connection. So just getting him to be vulnerable, getting him to open up, share some fake sob story, like what Shira say about Aunt Ethel, you know, but like have some sob story, get him to open up and pretend like you care, pretend like you actually give a fuck. But y'all, I'm gonna get off of here. Okay, I'm gonna get off of here. Um, and I will talk to y'all next time. I hope you'll have a wonderful weekend. Bye.